It's Sunday the 14th of March. Been a little while since I've done a video. 2021. So we're still in lockdown in the Netherlands. There's some easing with school children starting to go back. So it's been a year now since the first lockdown in March 2020. The infection rates have gone slightly up, they've plateaued. I think I talked last time about them coming down very profoundly compared with places like the UK, and now it's kind of plateaued. What's happened in the meantime, the UK's carried on going down, so the UK has a very low infection rate, one of the lowest in Western Europe now. But the Netherlands, it's not as bad. France has got a problem, Italy have got a problem, Germany seem to be managing pretty well, but it's still a little bit on the high side. So we're just waiting to see what provisions they now do, because things like hairdressers are now open as of this week. So yeah, but the vaccine program really seems to be kicking in, particularly in the UK. It's noticeable. It's really, you see it not just in the infection rates, that's the effect, but the biggest effect I believe is in the looking at the admissions to hospital, because the over 80s first of all dropped right off, and then the over 70s and those who are vulnerable. So it's definitely had an effect in terms of protecting, and that needs to be the emphasis now, I think, on the vaccine program. Isn't just that it can potentially reduce infections, because that's still a little uncertain, because there's still infections, it's definitely low level transmission, but it's that real effect on the severity of the disease. If you do get infected and generate COVID, then you're far better protected and not going to have severe symptoms. Anyway, it's a bit of a windy day, it's not too bad, it's a very March feeling day, a little bit cool but not too bad. So I'm going to go over to this is the Bosjes van Poot, and then I'm going to walk over and go over into the Westduinpark for a little loop. It won't be very much, it'll only be like 45 minutes, 7 or 8 kilometres, something like that. Anyway, that's it. So I'm in Westduinpark now. Just see the Highland cattle just dotted around in the woods there, just free to roam in this area. There's an all white one there, a black one, and a normal chestnut. So I'm just going to do a bit of hill running today. These paths seem to be generally quite good, but the hills get tricky because it's very loose sand, but it's very good exercise even if a bit slow. So this run today will be slow, but it'll be a good workout for the old leg muscles and the lungs. So this is what I mean by the soft sandy climbs. It probably doesn't look like much of a climb, but it is for around here. Gives me a good workout anyway. So I was saying about the UK rate dropping well below the Dutch rate, which wasn't the case a month ago. It's around the other way. It's actually even more extreme than that now, given yesterday was Saturday, which is always it's not the ideal recording day, but that was the first time in this second wave that the British, not rate, but the actual numbers of positive tests dropped below that of the Dutch. So it's around 6,000, 6,500 in the Netherlands. It's gone below 6,000 in the UK. There have been some resurges, as I mentioned before. It's really flattened off for some reason in the Netherlands. It's actually started increasing in other countries like France and Italy. So yeah, we've got to see what the long-term consequences of that, because of course you have to wait about 2 weeks to start seeing the hospital admissions start to come through, because as people get infected it takes a while for them to, unfortunately, to then contract or have the symptoms of COVID, and then to get the severe symptoms takes a while. So anyway, fingers crossed it's not as bad as it seems, but hopefully if they get into the vaccination of the older, more vulnerable people, those with underlying conditions, then hopefully the symptoms aren't going to be so severe anyway, so the admissions to hospital won't be as severe cases. So we've got to see if that's the case. Anyway, I'm going to carry on doing this. I'm about halfway round now, about 3.5k, and I'll just keep doing these little hill, well, they're not really hill repeats, they're kind of walk run type intervals I'm going to do on the hills, and then just do a full circle and head back. Back on the soft stuff. So I'm almost pretty much done the turn on the way back. Right? I'm the runner, more ambitious than me. So you may have noticed I've been stopping and doing the video more today than I used to. So you can hear now I'm finding my fitness has tailed off. I did have an injury, of course. I stopped running for a time just before the end of the year, and have gradually got back into it and doing mainly 5Ks every other day, or in fact I did a run of 10 of them last week just to see if my knee would hold up, which is a bit of a silly experiment, but it was worth trying and it seemed to work. So I haven't got back to that endurance training, and that really helps you out with these smaller runs because you find you're breathing so much easier, so much more efficient with pedaling those muscles. The other big issue, which of course really came to play when I got injured and may have been a contributing factor, was weight. And during the initial lockdown in the UK, I put on almost 10k by the time I came back here, and then I've really kept that, unfortunately. So when I did the marathon in August, the trail marathon in Dorset, I was definitely overweight, but it was my conditioning, I think, that helped me get through it. Even though it was a slow time, I still got through it. I was able to manage it. I didn't hit the wall or anything like that, so that was fine. You know, I managed my nutrition, but I think it was my general conditioning that got me through, not my immediate fitness. So that's really started to tell once I got an injury, once I slowed down my exercise, and have been trying to ratchet it back up. So I've got to get rid of at least 10k. Ideally my weight should be even lower than that, should be able to get another 5 off, but I've rarely ever been that weight anyway, or not since my latter adult years. So that's my target, but you know, food's tasty, so what are you going to do? And beer's nice, so you've got to enjoy things, particularly during this lockdown phase. Anyway, fingers crossed for lockdown starting to be eased at the end of this month, so a couple of weeks away, and we'll see. And even the flights have now opened up. So the Netherlands had a ban on flights, ships, anything with passengers to the UK. Freight was still carrying on, but everything else was banned, so there's no flights. But KLM have now resumed they're starting to resume their services. I think BA as well, back to the Netherlands, so we might plan on trying to get back to the UK probably April or May. It would help if we can, you know, see the vaccination programs and even get vaccinated, at least the first ones ourselves. So we'll see how that goes. But we haven't been back since the summer, so it'll be good to get back and check up on everybody, even though we can't, of course, properly greet everybody. We can at least meet outside. Anyway, that's it, almost done. So I will catch up, or try and start doing videos again. I've been a bit lax on those because I've been doing these shorter runs.